Seems like building owners in Chicago are literally fighting for their life right now. They cannot have the Chicago's mansion tax passed. And let me tell you why it's a bad thing. Now here's the thing. I'm all for a mansion tax if the real estate situation in a city is so hot and there's a lot of foreign demand. Like, for example, Singapore's mansion tax for many people outside of Singapore is like 60%, except US citizens, a few other countries. So if like a lot of Chinese or Japanese or Australian buyers go to Singapore, for example, they get hit by 60% mansion tax. And mansion tax basically means that if you buy like $1 million worth of property, you're taxed 60%. So it's $600,000 plus a $1 million to get the property. And governments love it because they get a bunch of money. But Chicago is doing a mansion tax. I don't know if you've ever been to Chicago, but the real estate situation is actually kind of doo-doo. It's probably one of the worst commercial real estate industries I've ever seen. What's worse is the residential real estate is not any better. Chicago price per square feet for many of its condos are like lower than some suburban neighborhoods in America. So check this out. It's 4 reasons why the mansion tax is terrible for Chicago businesses. Now, the mayor's Bring Home Chicago plan is going to fall on mostly on commercial property. Not sure if you guys ever looked at commercial property, but this is one of the worst industries right now. Chicago's commercial industry is terrible. It's one of the worst, not just in North America, but in the entire world. We're looking at price per square feet ranging from literally $10 to $70. Super cheap. Now, compared to extremely hot commercial real estate areas like Singapore, we're looking at $1,000 to almost $3,000 USD per square feet. Chicago, LA, San Francisco, it's all below $100 and sometimes even below $50 per square feet. Check this out, guys. You got a building here. Look at how enormous this building is. It's 12 stores, retail space, and you're telling me it's sold for just $4 million? I mean, this building is actually kind of big too, guys. It's not like a small building. Now, this building is sold for a negative 90%. So it's a 90% off building. I've never seen 90% even at a department store. But here we are today with 90% on commercial real estate on a property that's near the Loop area. So the location is pretty decent. It's very touristy. And yeah, somebody paid $4 million for this. But guess what? $4 million, don't expect any sort of price appreciation, especially if this law gets passed. Because the mansion proposal makes a slight reduction, 20% in property transfers under $1 million. And if you sell your properties, transfer it, it's so expensive, guys. And also, a tax increase is not going to generate nearly the revenue needed. I mean, just look at LA. They have a mansion tax, just killed off their luxury sector. Basically, property sales tax above $5 million. So if you buy like a townhouse or a house in LA, more than $5 million, you're taxed by like 3 to 5% around the area, which is pretty enormous for a city where there's barely any real estate transactions. LA right now is residential real estate that's anything above $5 million. It's over. These mega mansions that these guys built during the pandemic at 0% interest rates are not selling. There's barely any rich people left in California who want to buy these condos. Why in the world would you buy like a $10, $15 million mansion in LA when there's so many other better places to buy? You don't have to buy in LA, guys. If you have 10 to 15 million, seriously consider buying somewhere else. And that's exactly what a lot of other rich people are thinking. So it's not even generating that much tax income because you add in the mansion tax, nobody's buying because it's already a pretty poor market. You tax it, even poorer market. So less revenue than predicted. Yeah, it's not going to generate enough revenue. And the tax will be adding burden to the second most heavily taxed commercial real estate in the country. Chicago is very expensive. Commercial office taxes have increased by 92% from 2012 to 2022. Double. That's insane. Detroit is the higher commercial property tax rate. And lastly, commercial real estate is so incredibly bad, guys. If you've been following this channel, you know how I despise commercial real estate. They're great buildings, great investments before the pandemic. But now, every company is doing hybrid work, remote work. They're working at home in their pajamas. They don't want to go out, especially in places like Chicago where the crime rate's insane. Many people opt in for mid-tier cities, smaller suburban cities, and work from home. Startups are no longer moving to Chicago, the Bay Area, or Manhattan. Startups are now online, on Zoom, and on Upwork. Seems like people just don't want to be in the offices. I know you don't. So here you go. Paying $4 million for a half-vacant building. $4 million for a building of this caliber. That is something you don't see often in the real estate market. You show this to people in like Sydney, people in Dubai, people in Singapore. They actually be like, no way, this whole entire building sold for just $4 million. I don't keep saying it, but Chicago real estate, it's not even recovering. In fact, it's still going down. And now they're about to slap on a mansion tax. What in the world is going on? This is the kind of stuff that we're living in. And building owners are super freaked out. There's actually a coalition of Chicago building owners, contractors, and real estate investors that filed a complaint and filed a suit on Friday. They need to block this because, once again, it's not even going to generate enough revenue. This is what we're seeing in many of the super left-leaning cities where many rich people and wealth are leaving. Go to San Francisco, for example, guess what's happening? Their real estate prices are dropping, but guess what they just implemented? They are refusing to drop property taxes, and they want to squeeze every penny out of the people who bought homes here. And even Blackstone, one of the biggest landlords in the world, even filed a complaint to the San Francisco City Council, and they got rejected. So not even BlackRock, someone of that caliber, can convince the San Francisco authority to lower property tax. Real estate is no longer the way it was. I mean, real estate used to be a very lucrative market. Commercial real estate used to be a piece of property that's very stable and very good. I mean, remember commercial real estate, even during the '08 crisis, it was still pretty sought after because companies still needed a place to stay and needed a place to grow. And you know what's really frightening about this whole commercial real estate? It's not just about this mansion tax, but it's also developers are going nuts. Developer gets $500 million in construction financing for a project on Chicago's Spire site. Guys, what's going on? You got property selling for 90% off. Everyone's leaving big cities, and banks actually approved this project. I mean, looks cool, don't get me wrong, and it definitely added an addition to the Chicago skyline. But come on, are people really renting this? Boeing's left. So many vacancies. Bay Area vacancies are hitting 40%. Oakland, same exact thing. Chicago vacancies are super duper high, and developers are still making towers. I've been telling you guys that even the FDIC is kind of unnerved. Like, they're pretty scared about this commercial situation. There's $3 trillion whopping dollars of commercial properties spread across all regions of the U.S., and they're buying even more. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment below, and before I leave, check out the private Discord server, 7-day free trial. And we trade live every single day. Trade with us, guys. Make some money with us. We were actually doing a pretty good job. So check it out. There's no risk. There's even a free trial. Cancel anytime. And a lot of people who join, they actually stay. Because our positions and our plays actually make cash. So check us out. Look at all of these juicy profits. It's great.